Hello and welcome to Ula Tea Leaf Readings. My name is Lenore and tonight I'm going to be reading your tea leaves. This is a horoscope for Libra. If Libra is your solar, lunar, ascendant / rising sign, then this is a message for you. All right, let's get started. And so we have the Princess of Wands. Fiery, lovely, a little bit naive maybe, but also full of hope. What I love about the Princess of Wands is she gets things done, right? When she wants something, she's gonna get it. All right. Let's take a look at these tea leaves, see what they have to say. So if you have not subscribed yet, please think about doing that. You can hit that little bell. It'll let you know when the next readings are coming out. It's free to subscribe. Okay. I like seeing the squares. It's coming together. It's getting into its square shape. If you've watched my readings, I love to use the term or the phrase, I should say, getting things squared away, which simply means, getting everything how it should be, getting it in order, right? Okay, so it looks like we have a lot of people here in action. We also have this infinity sign down here. I want to come back to that after we look at kind of what we're seeing here. So we have, it looks like an older person sitting here, okay? Now, it looks to me like they're kind of looking through maybe some kind of telescope or a looking glass of some kind. And now I'm going to take a little. This is like my 5th or 6th reading today, so my throat is getting a little raw there. And I have to take little sips of drinks once in a while. Okay, so yes, looking upwards, and right here we have a satyr. Okay, so kind of half human, half goat. You could think of like Pan, right? This is a wilderness spirit, one that is uninhibited, kind of outside the parameters of morality and ethics, kind of living in this natural state, okay? As we know in the myth of Pan, this actually ends up being kind of the rune of Pan, but often in this kind of younger version, still together, still intact, right? It is a sign of fertility, of creativity, of passion, of love, of that kind of romanticism and movements of ecstatic connection. And so it looks to me like bringing an apple, holding an apple and bringing it to this person who is looking upwards. So I do feel like we have this older person here, gives me crone energy, okay? Lots of maybe my favorite archetype. Possibly my favorite archetype is the crone. Yes, of wisdom, of survival. One who lives on the borderlands, okay? Outside of like the constraints of society in your youth, where you're kind of always vying for the things you want, the things you think you want, the things that you need, trying to get the right job, get the right, spouse, and live in a place that, is whatever, always trying to get more and more and more. Well, when we get into this cronehood, And this is, not every single person, right? It's different for each of us. But as far as the archetype goes, we get into this cronehood, and there's a time where the individuation process begins, and we start to really kind of commune with ourselves, go into these interior places, get to know the aspects of our being, our different personalities, our personas, and so on, but refraining from judgment, okay? Or at least looking upon these aspects of our makeup with empathy, with a kind heart. Even the parts that we know are quite vile, sometimes, we all have this. Sometimes we can be cruel. Sometimes we can be quite petty. Sometimes we can be ruthless. Maybe even harmful to others. And that's hard to really kind of take in, right? It's hard to kind of sit in that and think, yeah, I have been somebody who has been damaging to other people, to the world. But when we go through this individuation process, we have to recognize, we kind of span the spectrum of, good and bad and good and evil and, this black and white dualistic thinking. Throughout our whole life, we will, go back and forth on this spectrum. And so I feel like this is a time where you're really, really looking at yourself with kindness, with love. Maybe, and it made me feel, as I said that, I was about to say, maybe working on letting go of some shame. And that feels heavy when I said that. I feel like that really strikes a chord here. I feel like there is shame around something or multiple things. And I feel like there's a sense of almost maybe being embarrassed about the shamefulness or feeling guilty. Having avoided it because it was hard. Having avoided it because that meant you had to kind of recognize somebody made me feel this way. Something in my life made me feel this way. I like to say on my readings, I don't like to say it, but I do. I use it as an example. I've had a lot of loss in my life. I've had a lot of, things happen. Abuse as a child, especially. I've had a lot of reasons to cry, and I do cry. I cry a lot. Sometimes I cry every day. Sometimes it's, because I'm in a bad place. Sometimes it's because I just cry. I don't know. I'm prone to crying. I still feel shame about crying in front of people for some reason. You'd think somebody who cries so often, who emotes so often, would just be okay with I'm just gonna cry here in the middle of the gas station while I'm waiting to pay for, my bottle of water or whatever, But no, I still feel shame about it. And I've been working diligently to figure out, why? What is going on with this? How do I let it go? I just am who I am. If I'm going to cry, I'm going to cry. Nobody cares, really, ultimately, if I'm crying or not. Do you think the guy at, when I'm going through the drive-thru or whatever, do you think he cares if I'm crying in my car? No. He might be empathetic, right? But he's not thinking oh, look at this lady crying in her car. No. So why? Why feel shame? I don't know. We hold on to it. But during this period of time, I feel like, yeah, you're looking at these things. You are releasing yourself. And, you know, it's not easy. It feels heavy even just, I mean, like I said, when I started to say, I was like, on my chest, I felt just like this pang of, ooh, it's heavy. Now we have the satyr coming in with the apple. Now the apple is a sign of good health, okay? Or at least stabilized health. And so I feel like this is kind of, yeah, this archetype of this kind of, it's not even brave, it just is. They just exist as they are, right? It's not even like a conscious choice of like, I'm going to live in my authentic self. They just kind of are their authentic self. And I see this kind of energy coming into your world, being activated within self. I think that there's just, it seems like a period of your life where you're over playing the game. You're over wearing the masks. You're over, you know, performing for probably most of the people you encounter. And now I'm not singling you out because we all do this. We all do it. I don't care if somebody said, no, I'm always myself, man. I don't put on for anybody. Yeah, right. Yeah, right. But I do. I feel like this is the energy that's coming in, this authentic nature. I feel like it is starting to really affect you in a way that I feel like it's a freedom. Now, don't go off the deep end and start putting people in their place and all that kind of thing. Or at least if you do it kindly, put it in an email, you know. You don't have to get into arguments with everybody. But yeah, enjoy this freedom. I know it's not easy. I know it's not easy to look at how things have been and think, I'm tired of being this person. I'm trying to live differently. I want to feel differently. I don't want to always be judging myself or hearing like, you know, my mom's voice, my dad's voice in my head, putting me down or being critical or, you know, whatever it is for you. And this brings a sense of, yeah, stress being relieved. And I think that's exactly what that apple is. Stress affects so many parts of our existence. It's ridiculous. And you often don't even realize how stressed out you are until there's some relief. And then you think, my goodness, how was I even surviving that way? For me, this is my example I always use for this, is at the end of the day, I'm a 2-shower-a-day person. I like it right in the morning and then before bed. And sometimes I get a third in there if I've done some kind of heavy cleaning, you know, and then it's like, okay, I need a shower. I got a shower in the middle of the day. But that last shower of my day, sometimes I get in there and the hot water gets on me and it's like my body melts. I literally will get in there and go, you know, like it just comes out of me. Because I'm so rigid. I'm so stressed out feeling in my body. Maybe not in my mind so much, but my body is. It's retaining the anxiety of the day, the busyness. I'm tired, I'm this, I'm that, you know, all the things that we are. And that warm water hitting me, it all just kind of washes it out in a way. And I feel like this is kind of, yeah, you're realizing like how hard it has been for you. Now, let me remind you, be empathetic with yourself. You're in a mode of learning right now. You're in a mode of loving self. You're in a mode of just being. Try not to lament it. Not what's happening currently, but what has happened. At least your part in it, okay? Be kind to yourself. Think of yourself as a five-year-old child, okay? How do we talk to little kids? With love and empathy. We listen to them. We hear them and we support them. We're not going to go hard on them and scold them and yell at them and say, why are you feeling this way? You shouldn't feel this way. You know, why? Why would we talk to kids like that? Now, some people do, unfortunately, but generally, I'm saying we don't talk to them like that. Not anymore, anyways. So, talk to yourself like you would a 5-year-old child who is struggling with their feelings about whatever's going on. Be there for yourself. You're your biggest support. Now, everything coming together. This is the one I love. I saw it. I said, yes. Everything getting squared away on the square. Firm foundation. In masonry, they have something called a rough ashlar. It's a big chunk of stone, right? And as it's chiseled away into the perfected square, and I always forget, is it the capstone or is it the, what's the other one? The guide stone? I don't know. Anyways, it's being turned into a perfect square. And that really is about refinement of self. Okay, it is about learning. It is about nurturing the soul. It is about finding your path to the divine and keeping that threaded in your mundane life. The path to God, to the goddess, to the divine is not something that we save for, that half an hour a day we have to meditate, or on the weekend when we go to some kind of service or whatever. It's every day. It's every moment of our day. It's how we're living. It's how we're thinking. It's how we're moving. It's how we're behaving. Okay? I can see that you've devoted yourself. And it makes sense to me because you were also devoted in that individuation. They're the same thing. It's the same process woven into each other. So I feel like this is so much about, I feel like this is one of the more powerful people that I've read for. Okay. Everybody I read for, all of the bowls I get, I think, I can see energy and power and motivation, inspiration, ability, intelligence, all of that. But this one, it feels like is for somebody who is initiated, somebody who has a high knowledge of what they're doing, what they're striving for. They have eyes to see. Okay, there's an awakening that has happened here. Now, let's look at this one up here. We have a person standing, holding an H. Okay, the letter H. And above them is a fish. Below them, a deer sitting right there. So again, I feel like there's this real... I almost feel like this is kind of, again, a foresty spirit, but human, almost kind of the crone, maybe kind of the forager, gatherer, right? Hunter-gatherer, but mostly gatherer. Maybe kind of a witch energy, only in that this is somebody who lives outside of... on the edges of society. Somebody who kind of is in their own world, doing their own thing, doing their own, educating themselves, performing magic or healing, some kind of esoterica, divination or something like this, okay? I really feel that you are magically inclined. You're in tune with the elements. You are somebody who absolutely has a lot of ability. Now, with the fish above head, I feel like this is a time where maybe you're considering putting this to use to make money, right? Maybe you're starting a business or a channel. Maybe you read tarot leaves or tea leaves just like I do, you know, or you're like a healer or, I don't know, something, right? Something within the spiritual realm. And I wonder if you've been considering it. And if that's the case, I say, please go ahead and start. Not tomorrow, start today. Start, you know, following your intuition here. It's not easy and it takes time. Don't give up. It's a lot of work, but it's worth it. I promise you it's worth it. And, you know, working with spirit is, now we work with spirit in everything that we do, right? But actively communicating with spirit. Okay, doing magical work, doing the things that you love, the things that really kind of flow through you. They may even come to you kind of naturally. It's such a privilege to be able to do these kinds of things and make some money doing it, right? It is a blessing. It's a blessing from the divine. And definitely worthwhile if that is something that you're thinking about doing, okay? Let's see, we have all these birds over here. So I feel like a lot of messages coming through for you, things that you are perceiving and receiving. We have that infinity sign too. I almost think this is like a tattoo on somebody. As soon as I saw this in my mind, it was like, okay, is this a tattoo? Also tools. Okay, so we have tools up here. And I was thinking also, pretty soon here, there's going to be some kind of project that you're working on. I feel like it's like building or fixing something, probably in the household. Okay, so worry not. That seems like it's going to go okay. Right? You're going to be pretty good once it's finished. Now, let's take a look over here. We have an R, we have a cup, we have an I. So I think a name that starts with a cup, or it starts with a cup, oh my goodness, with an R name. We have a cup. So I feel like it's an emotional connection. And then we have the I. So I feel like with you, okay? Somebody with an R name. And I feel like that they're really at the forefront of your life right now. So you're spending time with them, you're talking to them. I feel like there's a lot of love there. It doesn't have to be romantic. It can be family or friend or something like that as well. We also have the name Joe, J-O. We have a person on a boat right here. So a movement, okay? Some kind of movement forward or changing some aspect of your life to kind of benefit the work that you're doing. Okay, so yeah, you know, actively partaking in these changes. Now, we have the Wild Offering Oracle cards, and I'm going to go ahead and flip through. I'm going to stop where it feels right. Patience. All right. If you've ever, my goodness, I started my last reading, and let me tell you, this is like my 6th reading of the day. My last reading, and I'm just like, okay, I'm like spiraling now. I've always not been very good at reading out loud, but it's just ridiculous. I just keep adding words to what my brain is connecting, and like, yeah. So anyways, let me go slow. Let me have patience with myself. If you've tried forever to shift a problem, there's probably something to learn from embracing it. May I let this be for now. Help me relax and trust every need will be met. Often change soon follows. Often change soon follows. All right. Well, that's it for me, Libra. I'm going to go ahead and tell you I love you because I do, and I thank you so much for spending this time with me. It's always such an honor to be able to bring these messages to you. If you would be so kind as to like the video, it really does help the channel. And if you have not subscribed yet, please think about doing that. You can hit that little bell. It'll let you know when the next readings are coming out. It is free to subscribe. And if you'd like to leave a comment, please do. I love hearing from you. And other than that, yeah, I love you. And we will talk in a few days. So take care of yourself. Good night.